What's up, YouTube? My name is Uncle Smokey, and before I start this video, I'd like to say I am not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. So please take what I say with a grain of salt and do your own DD. Today we're going to talk about ticker symbol MMAT, Metamaterials Inc. We're going to go over the technical analysis. We're going to take a look at Finviz. We're going to go through the options chain a little bit. We're going to take a quick glance at the Edgar data, which is where we're at right now. We're going to look at Fintel and Ortex, and of course we're going to take a quick look ahead. So we're going to start off today with the Edgar data. Just in case people missed it yesterday or you haven't seen it blasted all over YouTube already, look, semiconductors and related devices. Yes, we did change over as far as the SEC.gov website goes. We did change over. But the one thing that we need to now look at and show is, did that change anything? No. In fact, if anything, we might be a little bit worse off, correct? Finishing down 1.43% on the day. Now, don't get confused with what happened today as a bad thing. It's not. We did have a little bit of a run-up, which means that we showed a little bit of bullishism in the stock this morning. Now, I want to say that this is probably a little bit of institutional buying, i.e. algorithms, mainly because when a ticker symbol does change on the SEC.gov site, a lot of computers do pick up on that, and they send in an automatic buy signal. So that is probably what a lot of this is, with a little bit of indecision in here, some short selling, maybe some day traders, with some FOMO buying shortly after that. And FOMO is fear of missing out, in case anybody here is new and doesn't understand that. But once it triggered that 375 range, which I'm about to start labeling that as a level of resistance, it seems like the algorithms also took over and started shorting the stock back down to where it was a little bit earlier in the day. Now, I'll also have you notice that I left those lines up that I drew yesterday in yesterday's video for you to see that if I would have just moved this line that I put in the pre-market over a little bit and taken away the green line altogether, this stock basically traded exactly how I said it would, unfortunately, in the bearish category. And that's because I kind of knew that you weren't going to see a whole lot of pressure from that switch that was being hyped up about. Buy the news, sell the hype? No. Buy the hype, sell the news. Well, in this situation, there wasn't really much to sell or to buy, because it was just the continuation of something that's been going on now for nearly a month. So that's why I was indicating that not really a bullish signal that you needed to worry about. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and pull back to our 5-minute chart and take a look a little bit further out. One thing I want everybody to notice is, yes, we did finish down a little bit, but look at where we're at, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then let me pull this over to get the last one in there. 5 trading days ago, we have maintained a solid line. Look at this. We're going to set this line at $3.44. Sorry, it takes a second. This isn't the easiest thing to do there. There it is. And I'm going to change the color, just so it's nice. It's easy for you to see. And color red. Sorry about that. Alright, so if you notice, we're right at that $3.44 line. Okay? After a week. 1 week. Open to close. We haven't lost a penny, guys. It's a little bit of a crazy consolidation, but it's consolidation nonetheless. And like I always say, consolidation in any stock is beautiful. What this is doing is creating itself a very nice base. A place for it to call itself home. A place where it can bounce off of over and over and over again. And in all honesty, it's a very comfortable zone for this stock. As you can even zoom out and look even further back and see that it's actually been trading in this zone for roughly 2 weeks. Or better. So the comfort level of the stock is absolutely amazing. It's sustaining itself in this $3.50 range. Now, with that being said, I want to go ahead and push on to the next topic. Let's look at the options chain. Thinkorswim, and here it is. So again, in my video yesterday, I did mention that this one here disappeared, and I don't know why. But there it is again, and it's at every strike that it was at before. And again, the 50 and 100 is still there as well. Now, this 100 is our normal options chain, and you can see that there is volume, and there's bids, and there's asks, and whatnot like that. And we're going to go ahead and look at these down here, and you can see that there's what? Well, there's volume. Well, how is that possible? Because these don't exist. So some way, somehow, we've got movement in something that shouldn't even be there. This is physical volume. This is movement in these options that shouldn't be able to be done, especially if they are the old torch or the preferred share dividend end of it. There should be no volatility, no volume. There should be no ask. You can't buy it. So again, I don't know what this is. A little confused. I don't like to scream manipulation, but at the same time, it's looking like a little bit of a backdoor to me. Now, with that being said, calls 9,312 to puts 1,637. That's about 85-15 again. Guys, we're staying at the 80% range, call to put, 80-20. Very, very bullish. 191.77% implied volatility. We're under 200. It did go up a little bit, but that's to be expected, considering a few days ago we did just run the stock up to $4.24. So that's to be expected. All right, let's go ahead on over to the websites here. So before we go too deep, let's go ahead and look at Finviz. So we can see that us being down a little bit today is no big deal. We traded basically with our sector, technology and semiconductors in particular. Most of it was down a little bit today, as you can see by the burgundy and the red. There's only a little bit of green in here. Most stuff was down, and if it was up, it was only up 0.1% to 1%. Okay, so don't worry about us being down a little bit. We're just trading with the broader sector. Let's go ahead and just close that out since we're done with it. Let's move on to Ortex data. So Ortex, looks like Ortex is finally catching up. Looks like their numbers are starting to coincide with a lot of other people's numbers, especially the short interest changes, the returned and borrowed shares, and things like that. So today it looks like we finished net neutral as far as it goes returned and borrowed shares. So no big deal there, nothing really to look at. This is all an estimate. Don't go off of this too much. This stuff changes with the wind, especially in Ortex, because they are getting data from the exchanges themselves, and it's only reported what's actually. They only report what they want to report, not what they have to report. They don't report the naked shorting. They don't report the malpractice, and they're not going to. Why would they? If you didn't want Big Brother to see something, would you report it? Absolutely not. So you can usually take Ortex with a grain of salt when it comes down to a lot of this information. However, there are other things in here that you can use. For instance, these graphs are really nice, especially if you want to see their security lending volume and the failure to deliver graphs. Now, again, remember, this is a very young stock. So your failure to deliver information isn't really there quite yet. We're going to see another entry here in the next few days from the exchange. They give you information every other week, so like every 15 days, and it's already 2 weeks behind. So basically what we're going to see is the data from, I want to say, June 1st to June 15th, or I'm sorry, July 1st to July 15th, and that we will receive right around the 1st of August. And once we get that, that's going to give us a little bit more information on if there's any other heavy failure to delivers or things like that. The cost to borrow will change, utilization will change, the short interest will change. All of that stuff changes on that settlement date. So that's enough with Ortex. Let's move on to Fintel. Fintel, my favorite site. Fintel, the site of easy to access information, the stuff you really want to see. And today what we're going to concentrate on is this owners tab here. So in the owners tab, you have the ability to look at all the different forms of owners that that pop up in the market. And what I want to particularly look at today is buyers and sellers. Now we're going to start at the sellers just because we can, and it's not that impressive, so that's what I want to show you. Sellers. The last sell was on the 22nd, and now this is a big institutional sell. So that's not like you and me. This is the big stuff. This is the stuff that you don't see in the average market. Now we're going to go ahead and move over to the buyers. Here's what I want to really show you. Today, we had two buyers, two big buyers. STR Ohio, which is a company that hits home for me. I actually live in Ohio, Northeast Ohio, and I have two children. One of them just graduated high school, and another one's getting ready to start junior high school. So this here is a teacher's retirement fund, and they just bought 14,250 shares of Metamaterials. So they are showing that they feel that the stock is very bullish, and they're going to hold on to these shares because it is a retirement fund. Those retirement funds don't generally jump in and out of stocks with the wind. Okay, and when they do, you're not going to see them show up on these filings like this. You know, they're going to be short, quick, in and out. The other one that bought in today was STR Securities LLC. They're basically a fund. Okay, so nothing special about them. But here's the things we do want to look at with both of these. You can easily see how my cursor goes from a pointer to a finger. You can easily select on both of these, and it's going to open up a window. And let's go ahead and look. STR Ohio. You can look at the profile of the company, okay, which that's this one here. Apparently my internet's a little bit slow today. And it tells you a little bit about them. It tells you their top 10 holdings, their most recent filings, and whatnot like that. But what we want to see is this. Exactly what we're just looking at. Microsoft Corporation, Apple, Amazon, Facebook, and Alphabet, and Google. I'm sorry, that's the same there. They're invested in some of the largest conglomerates in the world. So that's a very good reason to believe that they're bullish on the stock. And if they're thinking that we are going to be up there with any of these guys here, well, that just helps me out feel that, helps me feel that I'm doing the right thing by holding this long term. You can also look at their current positions. They do this a lot, and of course they do. It's a retirement fund, similar to a 401k or an IRA. They have 2,220 different positions throughout the market, and their portfolio values of almost $28 billion. So it looks like they've been at this a while and they know what they're doing. So you would consider them smart money, and that's what we follow as smart money. Alright, sorry about that, guys. I lost where I was at. I got interrupted by one of my children. I was talking about them just a moment ago, and of course, you got to do dad duties, so one called, had to answer. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to the next one. I want to talk about STR Securities a little bit. So they're not quite as big of a conglomerate, however, they're still a conglomerate, and I still want to consider them smart money. Main reason being, they're smart with their money. Look here, they're invested in Tesla, again, Amazon, the S&P 500, Government Properties Income Trust, Facebook, so they know where to put their money. So when smart money like that moves into a stock, you can automatically take it as a bullish signal. Now, with that being said, I want to go ahead and close out my video, and we're going to do that back on our chart, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a prediction where I see this thing going tomorrow. So tomorrow I would love to see for this to go ahead and remount the $3.50 range, and of course push on up towards 365, where I do feel it'll be rejected again, back down towards the 355, 360 range, hopefully push upwards, pushing past our level of resistance, turning it into support, and then again trying to mount that maybe with a little bit of consolidation, moving up towards the 380 range and moving into the close. Now, of course, that's an extremely bullish case. I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm not a psychic. I can't tell these things, but with using past trends, using the lines of resistance that we've given, that's where I can see it moving in a day. And of course, if it continues this bullish trend, pushing up past the 380 range, up into the $4 range, and eventually hitting 420, and of course, so on and so forth. That would be the absolute best case scenario. Now, always remember, like I have said, you don't want a stock to go parabolic. Moving 10% to 20% in a day is absolutely phenomenal, and then giving itself a day to cool off in between is great, because you don't want the RSI to overextend itself for too long of a period of time. Also, that'll screw with your options chain a little bit if you like to trade the options. So if it doesn't go bullish and it turns bearish, what I see it doing is if it does mount the 350 and it pushes down like in past it has done, it pushes down towards the 340, 335 range, again pushing back up to 340. We know it likes to be comfortable in that 340 to 355 range. So hopefully, if it does go bearish tomorrow, we push back towards our comfortable consolidation range and consolidate in throughout the day up in this area, with the exception, of course, maybe mounting an attack towards that 365 range again. Again, I hope that we go bearish. I do foresee us being a little bit more consolidation tomorrow. I see us staying at the 350 to 365 range and probably not going much higher than that. But again, if we do, fantastic, phenomenal for us. I do believe it was Wednesday of last week we did our big run. Yep, it was Wednesday last week we did our big run, and that's kind of what I'm looking forward to this week as well. I see consolidation through tomorrow and possibly Wednesday being a little bit more bullish. So with that being said, go ahead, hit like, click subscribe, do what you got to do. Leave a comment down below for the algorithms. If you like what I said, hit the notification button so you can stay up to date with all of my videos. I will be coming out with a new ticker symbol hopefully before the end of the week. I am doing a little bit of DD on a couple of different companies. Other than that, we're done for today. So I hope everybody has a great night and a great tomorrow. Peace.